Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome to another episode of E.U.M Mondays. I pray on this Monday that all of you are doing well and that you are feeling fine. It is truly an honor and a privilege always to get together with you guys and have a spiritual meal. Listen, today I want to talk from the topic of there's a goal working opportunity in this crisis. If you've been following along with our In the Word episodes, about 2 weeks ago, I talked about how there is a golden opportunity in this crisis that we're all going through. And then a week after that, I talked about how there was a giving opportunity in the midst of this crisis. And if you have not heard those messages, I will leave those videos at the end of this one here on YouTube. And if you're on Facebook, you can just go in our video library and check that out on our In the Word page. But listen, without further ado, let's get into this. There's a goal working opportunity in this crisis. Some of you may say, well, what is a goal working opportunity? Listen, without further ado, the meal's on the table. It's been prepared. It's set. Let's dig in. When we look here in the scriptures, Ecclesiastes chapter 9 and 10 says, whatsoever thy hand findeth to do, whatever it is that is your purpose, whatever it is that you are meant to work on, that you are meant to put your hands to, it says, the scripture says, do it with thy might. In other words, do it with all your might. Why? For there is no work, nor device, nor knowledge, nor wisdom in the grave, whither thou goest. So the scripture is saying, listen, you are going to eventually die at some point in your life. Death, it comes for all of us. So he says, listen, whatever it is that your purpose here is on this earth, you need to be working it with all your might. You need to be going as hard at it as you can, because once you're done, you're done. And you want to be able to leave as much as you can on this earth to influence whoever it is that God intended for you to influence. Proverbs chapter 10 and verse 4 says, he becometh poor that dealeth with a slack hand, but the hand of the diligent maketh rich. And this scripture is not only talking about just from a monetary standpoint, it's also talking from a spiritual standpoint. And when you look at becometh poor that dealeth with a slack hand, the word slack means a not active or busy hand. The word diligent means persevering in work. The word persevere means to continue in some course of action in spite of difficulty or opposition. Proverbs 21 and 5 says, the thoughts of the diligent tend only to plenteous, but of everyone that is hasty only to want. He says the thoughts of the diligent, the word thoughts there means ideals and principles. Their ideals and principles of the diligent tend only to plenteous, but of everyone that is hasty. And the people that are hasty are the ones that make moves quickly with too little thought. They move too fast and they don't put enough thought behind what it is that they are supposed to be doing. In other words, sometimes they are driven by the wrong things instead of being driven by the purpose that God has placed in them. And I wanted to talk a little bit about this goal working opportunity, because a lot of times, you know, when a lot of us were really busy, when we weren't on this quarantine, those of us that have been stuck in a house, you know, some of you out there that are not working, you don't have your normal and regular schedule. There was something that you hear a lot of people, they'll say, listen, I don't have enough time. I'm dealing with this. I'm dealing with that. I would love to work on this book. I would love to work on this ministry. I would love to work on this business. You know, all of these different things that, you know, they talk about that they would do if they had the time to do. And now here we are in this situation dealing with the coronavirus, dealing with this crisis, and many people have a lot more time on their hands, especially dealing with this quarantine. So the question is, are you taking advantage of this opportunity that this crisis has presented to you by giving you the ability and the time now to work on your goal? And a lot of times, you know, you hear people say that, and even in the midst of when we were working, it reminds me of what the word diligent and persevere said. Diligent is to persevering and work. It's persevering and work. The word persevere is to continue in some course of action in spite of difficulty or opposition. So really what that is saying there is that even when we were working, even when we felt like we didn't have the time, those that are diligent and those that you see, get a lot of results, they find a way to get it done in spite of difficulty or opposition, in spite of difficult schedules and difficult family members or families or situations. They find a way to get it done. Most people that you study that have done some great things, or that they have excelled in what it is that they were meant to do here, when you listen to their stories, they had many oppositions. They went through many things in their lives. Like it's always, like you always hear, everybody get the same 24 hours in a day. So really even when we were on those busy schedules, there was really no excuses, for getting those things done. But a lot of times, we had those excuses, but guess what? You don't have them now. So now God is looking and saying, okay, well, now that you're home, now that you don't have this busy schedule, let me see what you're going to do with what I gave you. Let me see if you're going to really take advantage of this time that you have now. I saw somebody post up something yesterday on Facebook, and I was like, man, I got to add this, to my message when I talk on this Monday. And whoever posted it must have been one of my friends on Facebook or somebody that I'm friends with on Facebook, but it looked like it was by a guy named Anwar Douglas. I don't even know who that is, but he said something that I thought was so profound. He said, if you don't come out of this quarantine with 1, a new skill, 2, your side hustle started, 3, more knowledge, he says, you never lacked time, you lacked discipline. And believe it or not, a lot of us that said that we didn't have the time, in actuality, a lot of it was discipline that we lacked. But guess what? Now you have more time. So there should be no excuses for getting some of the things done that you said you always wanted to do and that you would do if you had more time. So I'm here to let you know on this Monday that there is a goal working opportunity. There has been an opportunity now presented to you to work on those goals that you kept telling people about, that you wanted to do, all those ideas you kept putting out there, and people was hearing it year after year, month after month, week after week, and not seeing those results. Now is your opportunity to show them, like, hey, listen, I told you once I got the time, I was going to get it done. And the reason why it's so important is not just for that reason to show people, that you meant business, but really to leave on the earth what you was meant to leave here. Because like the scripture says, listen, once you're gone, you're gone. We no longer have the opportunity to get from you what it was that you were meant to leave here. Listen, we are meant to die empty. Everything that God gave us when we came to this earth, that he gave us to give to this earth, we were supposed to leave it here. He don't want us to come back to him with that. He's going to say, listen, what are you doing with that here? You were supposed to leave that on the earth. So take advantage of this and don't rob the people here on the earth that's supposed to, hear what it is you have to say or receive what it is that you have for them, whatever it is that God put down on the inside of you. Listen, I pray that you guys be encouraged. Use this opportunity to work. Don't sit around and just watch TV all the day and, fiddle your thumbs on Facebook and Twitter and all these different things. Those things aren't bad in themselves, but listen, let's stop watching other people live and let's start living. Let's do what it is that we were meant to do so we can encourage some other folks so they can see what God has put down on the inside of us. So listen, guys, know that I love you. Until the next time we share a beautiful spiritual meal together, shalom.